You are now unmuted.
A very good morning to all my friends. I welcome you here to start the Hindu analysis for 12th of September 2020. So welcome friends, and let us begin the story with first of our topic or first of our section, which is thought of the day. So this is a very good thought given by Confucius. Confucius was a very great scholar, very great thinker from ancient Chinese society or ancient Chinese civilization. China was a very great civilization in ancient times, and he was a very great spiritual leader. Okay, so coming to the thought, wherever you go with all your heart. So it has very deep meaning, friends. Please do read it again. That wherever you go with all your heart. That is, pour your soul in your work. Whatever you do with full of your heart. Pour your soul. Leave no stone unturned. Leave no stone unturned in whatever you do. Okay, no stone unturned, and then only you can be sure of success. Then only you can be sure of success. Otherwise, what we are doing today, we are becoming jack of all trades and master of none. Master of none. So the thing is, friend, that all we need to do is to focus, is to concentrate, is to meditate on our work. And especially it becomes very good when the work is of our choice, when we do what we love. So we have the only formula for success which the people are searching in the world is to do your work diligently. Do it with all your soul, all your heart. Okay, friends. I hope it is very much clear to you that whatever you are doing, whatever exam you are giving, whatever job in you are, do it with very serious heart. Okay, do it with more love, more passion, so that it can give you in return the love and passion. Okay, because when you pour in your love and passion, the the return gifts come back in the form of success. So do whatever you are doing with full of your heart. Coming to the next section, friends, which is significance of the date. So here I will relate the thought. So Battle of Saragadi, you might have heard, especially after that Kesari movie from Akshay Kumar, so which is a very good movie. And the Battle of Saragadi, 12th of September 1897 was the date when this Battle of Saragadi was fought on India and Afghanistan border. You can see the India was under British Raj during that time, and the battle was fought between the Afghan tribesmen and the Sikhs in British Raj regiment. So the British Army went on an expedition called Tira expedition. Tira was a hill in this region, and they went to capture this hill so that they can capture this area which was earlier under Ranjit Singh, a Sikh leader. Okay, so they wanted to capture this area. So on these three forts, there were three forts which were captured by the Britishers, but the Pashtuns or the Afghans, they attacked. On the 12th of September, only 21 Sikhs were present in the Saragadi fort, and around 12,000 to 20,000. This was a number, friends, and these many Afghan tribesmen, they attacked this fort. They surrounded this entire fort, and the other troops of Britishers, they were quite at distance. So they were about to come, and it would have taken around 2 days for them to reach there. So only 21 Sikh soldiers fought this battle against, you can say that 21,000 against 21,000. That is, one man fought against 1,000. And though these 21 men died, but from the Afghan tribesmen, around 1,400 died, and the more were wounded. From more, the number were wounded. So you can imagine one man fighting 1,000 men. If you are asked to fight a 10-man group, you will be like, oh no, I cannot do this. So you can see the courage, the confidence that these people had, that they fought the last standing battle, marte dam tak lade, the ultimate sacrifice they made for the country. This is what makes them great. And this battle is remembered as one of the greatest last standing battle in the history of the world. It is commemorated world over. Friends, 21 sick soldiers against 12 to 24,000 Afghan tribesmen. And Indian Army remembers this day or commemorates this day as Saragadi Day. Even there has been this advertisement from Punjab CM today in the Hindu newspaper, which is commemorating the valiant soldiers of 36th Battalion who made unparalleled sacrifice of their life in the historic Battle of Sarangani. In today is 123rd anniversary of it. Okay, friends. So this is a very inspiring thing, and this inspires us that to do whatever we do with full heart, with full courage also. Okay, now coming to our news section, we are going to discuss 5 topics today. The first one is India-China 5-point solution. The second one is PM cares exempted from FCRA. The third one is NPV fees exemption demanded by Ministry of Mines. This has been demanded by Ministry of Mines for forest exploration. So we will discuss it. Then the fourth topic is the Bahrain goes the way of UAE to normalize their ties with Israel, which is to be announced by President Donald Trump of America. Then Gujarat is the best state for startups has been declared by this DPIIT. Okay, we will discuss all these things. So let us start with the first topic of ours, which is 5-point solution between China and India, which has been agreed, especially for easing the tension and quick disengagement of troops on LAC. It has been agreed between our Foreign Minister, Mr. Jaishankar, and his counterpart, Wang Yi, at that Moscow SCO meeting, okay, on the sidelines of SCO summit. So yesterday I told you that some minutes of that meeting were not disclosed, but today they have been disclosed, and both the countries have agreed on this 5-point action plan. Both the countries have come to declare this in a separate statement, separate media statements, right? Uh, and now the five, they have said that they have agreed this long-standing battle, or long-standing confrontation on the border should be relaxed now, and the border troops should be disengaged as quickly as possible to ease the tensions, to maintain the proper distance and ease the tension. So the 5-point solution which they have agreed on, the first point is the following: the consensus which was built between the leaders of both the country, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Premier G. So both have agreed that the formula or agenda on which both of them agreed during that Wuhan summit or Mallapuram summit in 2017, that no differences should be allowed, to turn into disputes. They should not be allowed to turn into disputes. But the thing is, friends, the differences have become disputes, especially the border differences. So let us see what other points are, then we will discuss, analyze what these things are. Okay. So the second point, friends, is that disengaging as quickly as possible to ease the tension. The third one is abiding the India-China border and avoiding escalatory action. Avoiding escalatory action. So you might know that we already have a 5-point agenda from the times of Nehru, which was called as Panchsheel. Panchsheel. In post-independence India, you might learn this Panchsheel, which was the idea for India's foreign policy forwarded by our then Prime Minister, Mr. Nehru. Okay, and in this idea, it was all about mutual respect for each other's sovereignty and integrity, mutual non-aggression. Okay, not interfering in each other's internal affairs, uh, supporting the global peace and security. So these were the 5 points on which Nehru's idea was based. So this was the basis for India-China relations in 1950s and 60s. And till now we cherish these ideas. Now the 5-point agenda seems largely to be the same thing. Okay, they are saying that we have to avoid escalations on border. We have to go on for dialogue with the special representative like Mr. Ajit Doval and Mr. Wang, the security advisors recently did. Okay, then the last point here is moving towards new confidence building measures. So both of them have agreed that immediate resolution should take place of this mutual problem, and so that the and the friction could be resolved. Okay, the deployment could be taken back to their permanent position. The troops could be taken back both by India and China to their permanent position, and follow that the status quo, which was status quo ante, which was there before April. So coming to the next analysis part, the analysis part has been very well described in this new topic, the glimmer of hope. So these 5-point consensus which is reached between the ministers of both China and India in Moscow gives us a glimmer of hope. The reason behind this that the points which they have talked about have been agreed previously also by both the nations. But all these points have failed to de-escalate the tensions. And the LAC remains tense with worst of its crisis since 1962 because firing has been there, killing of soldiers has been there, capturing of territories has been there, and there has been deployment of army troops, tanks, etc. So things are going worse and worse. So we hope that this dialogue, this 5-point agenda could solve out our problems. Like they have been saying that not allowing differences to become dispute. This formulation was agreed in 2017, friends. But still, the promise have not come to its implementation. Right? Both the parties agreed that the current situation is beneficial to none. So they should quickly disengage. The idea is quick disengagement. Quick disengagement. Maintain proper distance between the troops so that such kind of tensions could be eased out. So maintaining proper distance and easing of tensions. Easing of tensions. Following this brigadier level talk on more expedited agenda. Okay, but the question that arises is that why both the countries took to separate media declarations. Okay, both the countries, India and China, they came out with separately. They gave their media statements separately. And the Chinese media, last this official news the agency of China, it issued a commentary a day earlier saying accusing India of reckless provocation, telling that India need to learn lesson from history, especially that 1962 war. They have been saying that they are not going to lose even an inch of territory. Despite all this, they are doing this. So this creates a kind of mutual distrust. Though both the countries are moving in a right direction now with dialogues, but it creates a kind of mutual distrust. Okay, friends. So the thing is that India need to be wary of what the China's step would be from now on, and they have this step is a long road, the first step on a long road ahead, and India need to think over it so that this diplomatic engagement is not only a show off, it should have some implementation on ground so that both the sides could benefit from it. Okay, even a recent statement of China has claimed one statement of Foreign Minister of India saying that both the countries should engage with each other and not let the border tensions come in between, which is against India's statement for recent months. Okay, which seems that India has changed its stand, but this is not so. So this kind of differences are there still even after this consensus. The differences still can be seen. So the thing is the solution is yet to be achieved, but it seems that both the countries are now moving on the right path of this engagement. So coming to our second topic, friend, which is about FCRA not for PM Cares Fund. So it is a kind of very tricky topic here because PM Cares Fund, neither it is under RTI nor under it is not a government authority. Okay, not being created under Central Government Act, nor under executive order. So it is a kind of only public donating fund and registered under this contribution regulation. This Registration Act 1908. It is only registered under Registration Act 1908. The thing that arises here that recently an RTI was filed that if, when this PM Care Fund is not a public body, is not under government, how could it be granted this FCRA exemption? How could? So, and even it is not audited by CAC. So, how could it be granted this exemption under FCRA norms? We have been discussing FCRA norms for last 2-3 classes. So, I feel that you might be aware with this Foreign Contribution Regulation Act of 2010. So, coming to the FAQs on this website of PM Cares Fund, this says actually a recent RTI was filed, and this says that the fund is not audited by the CAP. But in January 2020, friend, in January 2020, the Home Ministry issued an order, a fresh order, which says that only those organizations could be exempted from this FCRA, which are either created by government, central or state government, either by the law of parliament, by or executive order, CA, which are created or established under a central act, state act, administrative or executive order of central or state government or wholly owned of the respective government, and must be audited by the CAG or any agencies of CAG. But the PM Care Fund does not fulfill this agenda. It is just a trust under Registration Act 1908 and not set up by central state government, not under their act, right? So it has been argued that how come this PM Care Fund has been granted the exemption under this FCRA. So one of the Secretary of Government has said that it can be granted. This the PM Cares Fund has been granted FCRA, and it can be done so, says a senior central government official. He says that the exemption is typically to central universities. It is similar to one given to central universities, and it is not very much clear how they can do so. But recent RTI, which was filed by Mr. Lokesh Batra, demanding the dates कि कब पीएम केयर्स फंड के लिए इस तरह की एप्लीकेशन फॉर एग्जेम्पशन वाज फाइल्ड एंड व्हेन सच एग्जेम्पशन वाज ग्रांटेड टू देम, कम से कम वो डेट्स तो बता दो. So the MHA has said that we cannot disclose this information given it pertains to a third party. So it cannot be exceeded without seeking the third party consent. They have referred to this section 180 of the RTI Act, which allows the denial of information available to a person in his fiduciary relationship unless the competent authority is satisfied that larger public interest warrants so such information to be given. तो इनका कहना है कि ये इतनी इम्पोर्टेंट इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं है जिसे पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट में डिस्क्लोज किया जाए अंडर सेक्शन 8 का 1 का ई, सो दे कैन डिनाई दिस इंफॉर्मेशन अंडर आरटीआई. तो सारी इंफॉर्मेशन तो डिनाई कर दी, पैसा कहाँ गया कुछ पता नहीं, बस ले लिया है फ्रॉम बोथ द इंडियंस एंड द फॉरेनर्स. एंड नाउ हाउ दे आर यूजिंग दिस मनी ये भी नहीं पता. 20 लाख करोड़ भी गिना दिए गवर्नमेंट. There should be transparency, yeah. There should be accountability. What the government is doing, people should know. We have very right to know it. And when the government is taking such steps, this kind of hiding things, secrecy, is not the answer. Even the Supreme Court, the second ARC report has said that secrecy should not be the idea which India is following. Secrecy should not be the idea. We should be following the idea of transparency rather than secrecy. But this secrecy is kind of thing which is creating the distrust, reducing the credibility of government. So the government should see this. They should not take such kind of step. They should declare what the budget, this PM Care Fund. The fund should be given audited to be audited under that CAG. Okay, it should be audited under CAG, and details of it should be made public. It should be brought under RTI so that people could know about it. There should be transparency, there should be credibility for the actions of government. Now coming to the next topic, friend, which is about Ministry of Mines has been asking the Ministry of Environment to set up an expert committee so as to exempt them from the mandated fees. Supreme Court has actually mandated a fees which the prospectors pay while digging the exploratory boreholes in forest. So the argument of Ministry of Mines is that they are actually boring the wide area, and only 1% of the cases that the area is converted to mining area. The exploration area is hardly converted to mining area, and they have to pay this NPV at the rate of 2 to 5% for entire exploration area, which has become a major challenge leading to delay in the exploration activity. This is the argument of Ministry of Mines. And they also have said that, let us see what NPV is. So NPV, as it is called, it is a monetary approximation of the value that is lost. When this Ministry of Mines, they dig a forest land, a company dig the forest land, they kind of destroy this ecosystem. So this leads to decrease in the value of this ecosystem of this land. So on the basis of services and ecological value of this land, a monetary value is estimated, which is to be paid by that company. Okay, friends. So a prescribed formula is there for calculating this amount, which depends on location and nature of forest, and the type of industrial enterprise which is going to use it, or the type of non-forest use this land is going to be converted into. Okay, so the thing is, this this fees is to be paid at the rate of this 2 to 5% of total land area. So this is called as NPV of the total forest area in the lease area. Okay, so they have to pay this, and the Ministry of Mine is saying that this causes the delay. While Ministry of Environment, they have refused this, saying that it is inappropriate. And yes, it is inappropriate because this fund could be utilized for regeneration of forest. And while if this fees is reduced, they can go for hasty degradation of forest ecosystem. Okay, so yes, even in case when the degradation is on large scale, the fee should be increased, in my opinion, rather than exempting or decreasing it. So yes, economic progress is very much necessary, but the consensus based SOP could be developed. Standard operating procedures could be developed for such kind of conditions, right? Because you have to balance economy versus environment, right? Coming to next topic, friend, which is about Bahrain is now to normalize ties with Israel. So Mr. Trump will on Tuesday in White House, he is going to attend a ceremony solemnizing the Israel UAE deal, which is announced on 13th of August. So now US President Donald Trump would also announce on Friday that Bahrain was joining its neighbor UAE in establishing formal ties with Israel. So earlier you might have heard about Israel-Palestine issue, which is to be covered in world history. We will cover this in world history in very detailed manner. So it was actually Israel where the Jews who were given the land of this Palestine by Britishers. So this Palestine was actually a British colony. So the British and several other countries, they gave this land to Jews to settle again after two millennia. Okay, after 2,000 years of my going away. So they decided to give this land to Jews, and then these Jews established the state of Israel. The Palestinian living here now, they are being shifted, or you can say concentrated only to the locations of this western strip, the Gaza Patti here, this West Bank near this Jordan, and the Golan Heights in Syria. And this is the Israel. This is the country of Israel. So now they have been kind of ousted of their own country, and a lot of tussle has been going on for years now. It is around more than a century now, because it was done after First World War, and the things are now being under problem for more than a century. So Palestinian peoples have been ousted of their land, and this created a tussle between the Israel and other Arab nation. Okay, इसने बाकी अरब देशों को गुस्सा कर दिया, and these Arab nation created a kind of unity among themselves to fight for the cause of Palestine, and they started their war with Israel. After 2 to 3 wars which Israel won in between this Israel and Arab, now many countries have they have been now disunited, and some have engaged with Israel. They have started formal ties. First was Egypt to do so, and now Egypt is an ally of USA, and they have been setting formal ties with Israel. Then it was actually done in last century only, in 20th century. Now in 21st century, many other countries have come to the terms with Israel. The one is recent one, UAE, and Bahrain is going to do so. Okay, so Bahrain is a very small island, a close ally of Saudi Arabia, and both are allies of US. So we see that a peaceful Western Asia could now be a possibility, and this is good for India, where the Indian interest lies. Earlier, India had to deal with the Israel, Saudi Arabia, and Iran as different poles in Western Asia. They are to be dealt as different poles in Western Asia, because each of them, they are in between the Cold War like conditions are going on. So when these they become allies, when these countries have they normalize their ties, it would be easy for India to deal with them in a single manner rather than dealing with them separately. Because Israel can transfer technology for India, is a good partner of India in foreign relations also. Then Saudi Arabia and Iran like countries, the Gulf is very important energy source for India. Okay, so we have to be friend with them. Then the next thing is remittances. A lot many Indians work in this Gulf area, and they had made India one of the largest remittance receiving country to the tune of $80 billion annually. You can imagine India is the country having largest amount of remittances sent by their its foreign expatriates. So the thing is, this would be good for India because such kind of peaceful settlements would ensure India's energy basket, the energy security of India. Okay. The last point today, friend, is about Gujarat has been emerged as the best startup state as per the DPIIT. DPIIT is Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, and this has been declared by this DPIIT that Gujarat is again the best performer in developing the startup ecosystem. So it has done very well, and we hope that we all know that India is now third largest country with maximum number of startups, and which is India is growing in a vibrant manner in this scene. Okay, so various steps taken like this fund of funds for startup PSUs has been now procuring from startup. A dedicated fund is also being created by PSUs for startup. Then 36,000 startups have been recognized under DPIIT. Okay, so and the startup policy has also been started by Government of India, Startup Stand Up India. So which is giving the tax rebates, tax holidays for 3 years, and incubation. Many other things have been provided in the startup policy of Government of India, and we hope that the startup they come into this arena of talent, innovation, research, doing this academia university linkage, so that India could achieve the targets like manufacturing hub of the world, make in India. That those can be achieved only with these kind of startups because they are the dwarfs who will become the giants tomorrow. Okay, the dwarfs need to be turned into giants. Okay, with this, I would like to thank you, friend. I hope I have contributed well to your knowledge and have a nice day, friend. Thank you.